Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we'll be doing an unboxing and review video for the 1/6 scale Cloud Strife figure by VTS Toys. For an unlicensed product, they aren't even being subtle about who the figure is supposed to be, but as confident as they are, do take the 1/6 scale label with a grain of salt, because I feel like someone screwed up the math over there and turned what would have been an awesome figure into somewhat of a letdown. Alright, buckle up, and let's hop into a roller coaster of mixed feelings. Cloud is a video game icon that needs no introduction. Barring the admirable attempt by VTS Toys, this is the first time Cloud has appeared in 1/6 scale format since its debut in 1997. Despite some clamor on the likeness of the hair sculpt, VTS Toys released this figure in 2021, based on Cloud's appearance in the FF7 remake released just the year before. Starting with the head sculpt, it's clear that there are some improvements over the prototype, especially with the hair. The direction of the spikes and bangs are more accurate. This is one of those head sculpts that, at a glance, you can immediately tell who it's supposed to be, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty, you'll find a lot of inaccuracies, and I'd say most of it is coming from the hair sculpt. For example, every spiky bit on the front could be more pronounced. The spiky tip on the back should sit a little lower on the head, and the sheer volume of the hair makes the head look a little too big. Seriously, the distance between Cloud's forehead to the top of the dome is so far apart, it's enough for a $30 Uber ride. The face sculpt is on point though. The Mako glow in Cloud's eyes are coming through beautifully, and the shape of the face looks just about right in every angle. On the other hand, the costume is consistently brilliant. The texture and pattern on Cloud's sweater is very accurate, and I love the collar on this thing. It's also very form-fitting, so you rarely have to futz with it, other than tugging the sleeves a little bit to cover the shoulder joints. The left pauldron bears similar rugged-looking texture as seen in the remake. It snaps onto Cloud's harness using a single joint. And speaking of the harness, it's sculpted entirely in plastic and is mostly rigid, which is necessary for mounting the Buster Sword on Cloud's back. And the midsection is beautifully sculpted. The left armlet is composed of 4 separate parts, with some weathering applied to the plastic pieces and bandages, and it's always nice to see this level of intricacy. The right arm is much more straightforward, with just a simple leather vambrace. The double belts are simple and to the point. The indigo pants flare out at the bottom just like in the game. This is achieved by the somewhat stiff and abundant fabrics rolling over the rubber band cuffs just above the ankles. And the boots are completely sculpted, right down to the wrinkles and double zippers. And it's even got a pull loop. Now that's attention to details. The base body for this release was specially tailored by VTS Toys. It's got the same articulations as the usual 6 scale figures. The only thing I wanted to note is, while the arms are seamless and have the proper muscle tone, they can only bend up to a little bit past 90 degrees, meaning that Cloud can't hold his sword directly on his back, which is a real bummer because that's one of his most iconic poses. Nonetheless, the joints in the arms are strong enough so Cloud can hold his sword without any problems. However, I can't say the same for the ankle joints, because they are a little bit wobbly, so one tiny nudge can tip the figure over, making the use of a display stand absolutely necessary. And this makes for a great segue onto the accessories. The display stand looks like a floor panel from Mako Reactor No. 1, with the same kanji character, and it's also got this bitchin' logo. But the real star here is the Buster Sword, which is one of the most recognizable weapons in video games. This hulking beast is just amazing to behold. While it's adequately weathered on both sides, there is still a layer of shine under the proper lighting. This is also very light, so Cloud can easily hold a pose with this using only one arm. This sword can also go on Cloud's back using the stud. All you need to do is take out the placeholder nub in the harness, then follow the notch to insert the stud. Then attach using the bottom materia slot. That looks so cool. And speaking of materias, Yuffie's beloved trophies are beautifully brought over to 1/6 scale format. There are 9 total, with at least one of each materia types in the mix. These are meant to be displayed on the character's hands. But don't worry, VTS has got you covered, because there is another set of materias that's identical to the first, in both quantity and types. The only difference is this set is much smaller than the first, so they can fit snugly into the Buster Sword. This is just pure fan service right here. After 20 years of being an FF7 fan, I can finally slot in my own materias for the first time. And lastly, we have this yellow flower, which was gifted by Aerith from the start of the game. It fits snugly into Cloud's harness, and also into the holding hand pose. Oh, and while we're at it, the hands are also fantastically sculpted, and comes with enough varieties to cover all the posing options you'll ever need. However, I do think they are a little big. At first I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me, but as we'll soon find out, everything about this figure is too big. And this is where the hype train for this figure comes to a screeching halt. For some perspective, here we have the Hot Toys Captain America and Iron Man from Avengers Endgame, the latter of which is notorious for being taller and taller with each new release. And here's Cloud just towering over both of them. According to the Final Fantasy Wiki, Cloud is about 5'8", which puts this figure in almost exactly 1/5 scale instead, because it's about 13.5 inches tall. 1/6 scale. Ha, that's a lie. And just for fun, here's Cloud next to Tifa by War Story, which I reviewed last time. This is just ridiculous. Tifa looks like a little kid next to Cloud. So there you have it, the 1/6 scale quote-unquote Cloud Strife figure by VTS Toys. This figure is the epitome of mixed feelings. By itself, this thing is actually pretty awesome. There's a lot of care that went into the costume and accessories. The head sculpt could be better, but it's already pretty darn good. This isn't a bad purchase for anyone who just want a Cloud figure and nothing else in their collection. But for 6 scale collectors out there, this will stick out like a sore thumb in your display. Personally, the incorrect size here really just killed it for me, which is a shame because everything else is so close to being perfect. Here's to hoping the upcoming Game Toys Cloud figure will fare a little better. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.